Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. This is going to be a full day in the workroom to kind of make up for the video that I lost last week. But the one thing I'm going to focus on right now, and will be talking through this, and sometimes I will not be, just depending on what I'm doing. But leave a comment, leave a question, and I'll do my best to keep looking at the camera. But behind me is the cucumber tower. And if you guys caught my video yesterday, I was in Brimfield. So I was not in the grow room at all. But when I got back, I remember leaving a fan on just for some aeration in the cucumber tower. And I came back last night to shut the one of the windows and discovered that the right side of the tower, which was the older side that actually had some, viable cucumbers, it was dead. It was lost. So I checked the pump. The water seemed to be fine. I actually turned it off and put it back on, and everything was flowing just fine. So I don't know if the fan did something. Maybe it rattled the vine where it was coming out of the net pot, and it was an older vine, so it probably didn't take much to kind of, put a good crack in there to cut off the circulation. And it was completely just wilted. And I said, let me just try to fix it a little bit tonight. And I woke up this morning and it was still just dead. So I've also been fighting with the pH in this tower. And I think what I'm going to do is I just think that when I cleaned out part of it a few weeks ago, there's a lot of dead vine or root inside. And I just think the tower needs to be completely taken apart. I'm going to try to salvage what I can, give it a good cleaning today, put it back together, and put what I have, like the celery at the top. And then this is like relatively new. So I'm going to try to take it out of the net pots, lay it on some plastic, scooch this over. I'm going to go clean it. So I'm going to be on and off the camera. So hang with me the best you can. Otherwise, you could catch this on the replay later on today and speed it up, because I'm going to be in and out of the room. And again, if you've got questions or leave comments, I'll do my best to keep looking at the camera. But yeah, so that's what's going to go on today. And then at some point, I've got some plantings to do. And I want to show you guys the watermelons that are pollinated, that are growing. They're really kind of special. So I'm just going to get into it. And if at any point this gets kind of crackly, I might just take off the mic so you guys can just watch me. So, okay, it's time to work. It's unfortunate, but it's got to happen. And I just, like I said, with the pH, I've been fighting it for, probably a good week. I keep lowering it, but it just keeps spiking to the point where it's like way over 7. And usually in the cucumber tower, it really doesn't do that. So I know that there's a problem. There's got to be some, like I said, dead root in there. So it's got to go. So I'm going to do my best to kind of hang on to as much as I possibly can. And if I have to replant, I've got to replant, but that's just the nature of dealing with the towers. And again, I'm going to just try to do my best to get any root that I can. And it's, the pH has been messing with the leaves. I keep checking the EC. The nutrients are just fine. I've actually lowered them a little bit, thinking that maybe that was the problem, but it's not. It really just is the tower just needs to be cleaned. And sometimes that's just what you need to do. So we're going to go ahead and make a gigantic mess. But I was able to pull off, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 good cucumbers last night. So they're in my fridge. So I think what I'll do is I'll make a cucumber salad. But see what I mean? This is brand new, and the nutrients are on point, but the leaves are still, getting that burnt marks. So I can't control the pH. So it has to be the tower. So the tower is talking to me. So we have to fix it. We've got to address it. Now, I hope I don't lose my celery, but again, I do have some planted in the nursery, but it's not ready to go in the tower. Those seeds are really little. Like this guy, I planted this guy weeks ago, but it's just not. I'm just going to trim it back a little bit. some of these are doing okay. Just gotta hang on to as much root as possible. Like this is a good one. And then I'll have to just gently try to untwine because they're very sticky. I'm sure I'm going to lose some leaves, but oh, there we go. Okay, so this one's not too bad. It's got some beautiful flowers on it, good roots. But again, I kept turning these back, going, what's going on? But live and you learn. That is the way of tower gardening. So I'm going to be doing a reverse pump on the basin, which undoing that blue hose and getting rid of the water. Maybe I'll plug the lights back on. Is that better so you guys can see? I can see a lot of root in there. Again, I'll just prune it back a little bit. Yeah. See, this is on the bottom, and I know that that's just entangled with dead root. So that's part of the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this back a little bit. But it smells really good. It smells like cucumber. So if you guys caught my live that I posted this morning about Brimfield, you got to go check that out. I had so much fun. It was so hot. Oh my God. It was worth the trip. Really fun stuff. What I found, though, because I've been going to the show for a billion years, is things were a little more expensive this year than I ever remembered. So that was, this is like a brand new, this is doing nothing up here. There we go. Not doing a damn thing. Other than some bad leaves. Even the baby leaves, they're still there. And they look horrific. Just so weird. I mean, that should be a lot further along. I just couldn't stabilize it no matter what I did. There we go. Oh, this one doesn't want to come out. It's telling me no. Oh yeah, there's like tons of dead roots in there. I woke up this morning and said, yeah, I know what I need to do today. Well, we'll get this tower straight and we'll get it back up and running. It's a good day to do it. It's not very sunny out. It's very foggy. Wow. These are really in there. I really don't, I hope I don't have to start over with seedlings. I don't think I will. I mean, if I do, I do, but I'd be sad if I had to. Yeah, I mean, these roots should be a lot longer, a lot more developed. Usually they're very aggressive, like the beans almost. When you took away that bean tower, that the bad seed big lesson, the amount of roots that I pulled out of those individual compartments was quite impressive, and they weren't in there very long. So when you take these out, you want to just try to pull them up as straight as possible. Now that's a good root system, but we're gonna have to trim it. If you grow cucumbers on your tower, you better like the scent of it because it's really fragrant, but it's so refreshing. Okay, so we'll see how we do with this one. That actually had a pollinated cucumber on it. Didn't see that one. I'm going to be doing a video very soon. I just need to sit down and finalize it about the different kinds of rock wall that we use in the these are cucumbers, but I do everything from lettuce, zucchini, tomatoes, beans, summer squash, zucchini, peppers. I've got 3 different kinds of peppers on the tower. And I've got a tower over here that's ready to go in there, and I'm going to be taking some seedlings a little bit later in the live and planting them. It's a zucchini that's not your typical zucchini. It's more of a round by botanical interest. So just want to give it a shot. But right now I'm just having an issue with this tower. Cucumbers are really easy to grow on the tower, and the problem is that I didn't clean it the last time. I really thought it was going to be okay. So I've been really struggling with the pH, keeping it balanced. If it gets too high, what happens is it blocks the uptick of nutrients for the plants, and they can't grow. And so that's what's been going on. I'd level it off between 5.8 and 6, but then the next day I'd go and I'd check it, which I shouldn't have to do that. Twice a week is ample, but it would be like 7.5, 8. So I think there's just something going on. So you're going to watch through this process of me kind of going in and out of this room once I get everything off the tower and dismembering it, of cleaning it, taking it apart, draining it in the other room. It's quite the process, and but it needs to be done. Now, the sad part is that I have this beautiful celery up here, and it's old and it's really rooted. So I'm gonna do my part. I know I'm probably gonna lose this, but I'm gonna do my best. This celery has probably been in there since December, and it's in there. It's in that net pot. There we go. So with these guys, before I do this last pull, and this is a workout, you got to pull straight up because the roots are all through here. But like I said, this has been in here since December, so you got to be patient and just kind of wiggle it, and you're going to see. And then once you have the root, gently try to get your hand in there and pull straight out. So I think I can try to save this. This is the smallest one of them. And it's in there. Well, I have it. I'm going to give it a little haircut. So if you saw my video called Cut and Come Again, celery and lettuce grow from the crown. So I would never cut in the center, but what I'm going to do is, just since I have it, and hopefully it will continue to grow, is I'm going to cut around the edge. And keep the integrity of the crown. Okay, so those are actually viable. I'm going to keep these. And whoops, there's some browning right there. Surprisingly, the celery, through all of the pH issues, it really didn't affect it. It didn't really brown. There's a little bit of browning on the leaves. And I don't know if that's just from being old. It could just be from the pH. I don't know, just a little bit, but it's still viable, and the root system is lovely. So I'm really gonna try to salvage it. Because celery it's not that it's difficult to grow. It just takes a long time. The seed is very like a sand kernel. So it takes many, many months to get it to where you need to be before you put it in the tower. All right, so what do we got? Oh, let me plant over here. And again, just pull straight up. Try to get as much as you can. Assess of what's there. And I think I can probably just trim off a little bit. I should move the garbage over a little bit so you guys can see. And cucumbers are pretty hardy. And they're pretty low maintenance, but it just goes to show you that the pH, whether you're a soil-based gardener or you're a tower gardener, is it's so important. It's so important. Without that, it's not going to drink the nutrients. So I'm going to just put this in the pile. All right, so we got to get more celery. One more cucumber plant. I mean, a lot of these, as you saw when I pulled them out, they had flowers. So, basil, and how long does it need to be ready to be harvested? Oh, basil. Oh, basil's really easy. You could put that right into a seedling tray and put it under grow lights. You can go to my website, towergardeningmadeeasy.com, and go under the nursery settings, and it will show you how to do it step by step of what you need. It'll take you right to all the Amazon links to purchase what you need for to start a little grow kit. But my gosh, you could put that on a windowsill and it would grow in no time. So yeah, that was what I would consider like a phase one. Like lettuce is phase 1, 2. Cucumber and celery and tomatoes, those are kind of a phase 2 grow. So you need to have some basic skills of tower gardening, but it's really not hard. You give it a shot, and if you run into problems, you come take a look at a bunch of my videos, or you can reach out to me directly, and I'll try to do my best to, walk you through it. Because I'm just into this now since December, and it's amazing the amount of food that I've grown for my family, and it's all in my basement. Yeah. Okay. So this bad boy this is my biggest, and I don't know. I need to get my tool in the back of this, and this is so grown that wish me luck. I think I'm probably going to lose a lot of this. But it's so beautiful. Makes me sad. Maybe not. Let's see. Yes. I want you to see me get tortured. This thing is huge. Oh man. It's almost growing outside the net pot. I won't say kind of, it is. So maybe it is time for this to come out. There we go. Wow. Wow. All right. Okay. Okay. You guys with me? Look at this. This is all celery. This is like massive. This is massive celery. And I'm really going to try. I'm going to have to trim some of this back to look at that root. That's crazy. I'm going to have to trim that. I mean, it's got to weigh like 2.5 pounds. I mean, I don't want to waste it. Ooh, broken. Harvest that. All right, so I'm going to lay this here. And now we just have the carcass of the tower. So I'm going to go ahead. I got to pull this away from the camera. And if you're not doing anything today and you want to stay with me for the long haul, please do, because I'm going to be here and we're going to be real busy doing all kinds of stuff today. So just stay tuned. But yeah, this is all right. So the next thing is, let's take the lights off. I like to bring them in close. Guys. So kind of bring your lights in nice and close. If you're really small or you know, your upper body strength is a little bit not there, please get a friend. I try to take the cord, swivel this, you can see. Take the cord and I try to just put it around me so that I don't step on it. Make sure you clear a path. And they, on the new towers, they're very snug and can be a little challenging to get off. So if you guys can watch me struggle. But the one thing that I just noticed, I put this tower together early on. When I put the towers together now, I make sure that this cord lines up with the pump. And, oh, I guess it does. My bad. So don't pull from here. Try to, there. Oh, this one came up really nice. Usually you got to really jimmy it. So well, why don't you go back down? But don't pull from these top parts. Pull from the bottom. And then I like to get it on the edge. And then what I do is I kind of walk it away from the tower. And I'm going to move it over to the sofa that's in this room. And then I just kind of plop it down. And then I move the lights in even closer so that it doesn't fall or slam onto the floor. It's really important. You don't want to break one of those wands because those lights are about $350 in tax and shipping. So be really careful and really gentle. All right, I'm going to open a window in here because I'm dying. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the timer and just, basically take this completely apart. If you've watched any of my podcasts, I do a lot about electricity and never putting your hand into the reservoir with anything that's live. It is a fish pump. I understand that, but it is water and it is electricity. And all it takes is just for 1 second, and it could be a big problem. So I have a couple little net pots that are on this side that need to come out before we disassemble the tower. And I don't know if you guys can see me, but I use this tool that comes with those, the trays, the garden trays, and the net pot has teeny tiny edges. And what I do is I shift the net pot to one side and I take this and I jam it in the back and then I glide it over to the other side and it should, I should say, let it pop out. You really want to try to recycle as many of the net pots as possible. Even by just, taking the roots out. If they're really entangled, just cut them and then maybe soak them in some water and really get them clean because they are a hard plastic. They're not expensive. But the thing is, why not reuse them? The whole purpose of doing this is to try to save money and stay out of the grocery store. So you really just, should try to recycle as much as you can. And if you garden with me, you know that if you watched the video the other day about the seedlings, nursery seedlings, I use just all recycled little pieces of rock wall to put them into the tower. So you save yourself a lot of money. All right. So this is where I need to go get my ladder because I'm too little. And put this over here. All right. So everybody just stay with me. Okay. I'm in the old room. That we grew out of. Okay. All right. So now for the fun part, we got to take this apart. How's everybody doing today? Getting ready for Memorial Day? Isn't that next weekend? All right. So the first thing really is just to kind of unscrew. Oh, I have these clips too. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those off while I'm up here too. I need a knife. So if you go to my website, if you have anything that's binding, those little white clips that come in really handy, and you can put them on the side of the towers, and they do come off. You just have to kind of pry them off. Is it on the table? No. You just get a little tool and they just pop right off. And they're still sticky, so I'll reuse them. Again, recycle what you can. They're not expensive. They're like less than a penny a piece because there's like 200 in a bag. But they do come in really handy when you have seedlings in here, and they're top heavy, like beans. That's huge. They grow so fast and so tall that they just kind of fall over. So because I'm indoors, it's not like I can just take this reservoir that I just filled up last week. It's 20 gallons of water. So I did this a week ago. And what I have to do is take the blue hose that's on the inside, and I have to undo it. And then there's a white hose that's in the other room, and I'll set that camera up as we do it. Don't mind me, we'll be in the bathroom. And there's a net pot that's to come out. And I reverse it into the sink. And so all these pieces that I'm taking out, come on, you little bugger. This is if you're taller, it's much easier. If you're a shorty like me, it's hard. It's challenging, but that's okay. All right, so now let's just take this apart. All right, so obviously the first thing is the wing nuts. Undo those. And it's good. I've kind of gone through a few towers now where I've had to clean. And you're probably going to get 4 or 5 months out of the tower before you really need to take it apart and start over. I got probably 2 plantings out of that before I really have to clean it. But if you're just joining me, I'm doing this because I just can't get the pH level. And I'm growing cucumbers. If anybody knows, they're very easy to maintain on a tower. Like they don't even need you to check the pH. But I kept doing it because I'm like, what's going on? So there's a lot of dead root on the inside. So when I pull these pieces apart, you're going to see me clean it and pull them out. They're not attached to anything. So they're just decomposing inside the tower, which is giving off a gas, which is disrupting the pH. And then again, if your pH is higher than 7 or below 5, you're not going to be able to grow. And your tower is going to give you signs of saying, hey, I can't drink drink up the nutrients because I'm being blocked because your pH is all messed up. And that's what's going on. So all of my beautiful seedlings I put in there, I was thinking it's fine, but it's not. So I should have just said enough, but I had so many cucumbers on the other side that I was like, maybe I could get away with it. And I tried. So I know now to let them grow, let this side just go, and start again. So as you can see, I when I put my towers together, I really, the extension rods. All right, these are really wet, so I need a paper towel. There's 2 extension rods in there. This is a good project for me today because it's kind of gross out. It's really foggy here in Newport, and it was raining earlier. So I'm looking down. I mean, it doesn't look like really dirty on the inside, but there are a lot of dead roots. So I'm just taking off the extension and pulling out the dead roots. And I really do think that that was part of the problem. There was a little algae on the rock wall. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a video very soon. I've got it set up on a platform about the different kinds of rock wall and the two that I use. And they're both really great, but they both have issues. And I'll say this, the one from Tower Garden, as much as I love it because it's super soft and it allows the roots to grow very quickly and through the bottom, it is very prone to algae. I mean, like really prone. So you have to be super, super careful. And also, it disintegrates faster in the tower than the other one. So I'm going to work on that. I keep forgetting to do it. So as you can see, look at. You ready? This is, let me get this closer so you guys can see. And move my garbage. Do you guys ever watch the Pimple Popper show? How many people do we have? 8. Does anybody watch that? Where they like slow-mo the pimple pop? It's kind of like slow-mo the roots. Smell your tower too. Does it have an odor? This one doesn't. Like these all look relatively okay, but there's some browning which indicates root rot. And I'm just by the handful. I'm gonna pull this. Look at. That's all dead root. That's the problem. And your hands are wet. It's hard to take them apart. There we go. So as you can see, they're relatively clean inside, but I'm going to go ahead and probably run them through the dishwasher with just basic soap and water. In one of my podcasts, and again, you guys really should watch it. I found a tip from a customer that said take a small portion of the citric acid and put it into the dishwasher and run it on a sanitary cycle. So I haven't ordered it yet, but she showed me the before and after, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Look at, that's the problem. And versus putting the citric acid in the basin and scrubbing it, because if you get that on your skin, it really can be irritating. So I don't want that. So not too bad in terms of really being dirty, but it just needs to be a good clean. That's all. All right, so, okay, right, can you see that? Like slow-mo, baby. All roots. And that was from the old plant. So, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's the foghorn in the back because it's really foggy here. So look at. And this was the problem with my pH. The old roots, not so much the new ones, but probably a combination too, because the seedlings that did do well, that were really growing, their root systems probably grew down to the basin, which then sucked up the nutrients. So the other ones that were kind of hanging in there and struggling a little bit, they couldn't get the nutrients because they were getting sucked up. Although I kept checking the EC and it said it was right there in the middle because I didn't want to go too high or too low because I had a combination of both old and new. So, all right. So what do we got going on here? Good for something. If I had chickens, Dawn, I would definitely bring them out to the chickens. The other thing too is if you have roots that are stuck in your nut pots, I would you cut them to the best of your ability. Like say you're just going to cut the plant off and then cut the roots here, or maybe leave them long here. Throw them into the chicken coops. The chickens love them, but where I am in Newport, they don't allow chickens. Um, maybe someday, I don't know. Okay, so the next step basically is just I have to unattach these tall rods, which is basically putting your hand inside. Now remember, safety first. Everything's been disconnected to the wall, so it's just basically a wing nut that's really tight. I can't stress enough to you guys that when you put these towers together that you really got to use some brute force to make sure that everything is super, super tight, because there have been so many people I've seen in forums and there's like water cascading from the top, and it's not the lights, it's just because your tower pieces aren't on tight enough. So if you don't have the hand strength, find a friend that can. It's really, really important. That way your water's, you're not constantly having to fill the basin up. Okay, so I'm going to put these over here. And I keep on my ladder, all of the hardware I keep here so that I keep track of it. So here we go. This is the long one. Ooh. I'm going to wing that. So there, those all look relatively okay. A little bit of goo there. All right. So the top is a little gooey. So we'll give it a little bit of a wipe. It'll be interesting to see what happens when I take off this top, like what the bottom looks like. We're going to see that in a second. I'm impressed with the inside that there wasn't more algae than I thought that there would be. I thought maybe that would be the problem, but it's not. Okay, so obviously everybody knows this top part comes off, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the ground. Oops. Before I do that, I'm going to, oh, there's the wing nut I was looking for. Unscrew the blue tube. You guys can see me. All right, so what I'm looking at, and I'll show you in a second. So the inside of the tub is, yeah, it's pretty gross. Pretty nasty. All right, so it's going to take a moment to kind of get out of the room with everything. And I'm going to show you. We're all going to go into my bathroom. So I'm very sorry about that. But I'm in the basement. In the basement. I don't have a laundry sink. But this process is actually really easy to do. So I think the hose is out there. But I want to show you guys the, I'm going to flip this around for a second, so bear with me. All right, hopefully my camera doesn't fall into the tub. All right, but it's pretty gross. So it definitely needs to be cleaned. You should try a tower, it's awesome. They're very easy to do. So I have a little bit of scrubbing to do as the water pumps out. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust you guys. Maybe take you away from the water first. And then bring this back up. And then flip it around. Hi, how are you? All right, so stay with me. I have to move this to the other room. Open the door first. One thing that I've said numerous times to people, that if you have towers, there are accessories that come with this that don't have the, that don't come with the actual kit, but the dolly, that the wheels that this comes on, that's a must. In the water. What do you mean, Don? Only where I use the nutrients in the water. Yeah, the nutrients are in the water, but I got to clean them out because I was struggling with the pH. The pH in here, I just could not level out. They were cucumbers and celery, and those are pretty, for the most part, they should be like 5.8 and 6.0. And I would check it every other day. I should be able to do this room twice a week, but this particular tower, I don't know. There was something off, and I just think it was just the dead roots that were inside, and they were, basically just disintegrating and causing gases in the water. So I'm going to be cleaning this completely out and starting from fresh, and then filling it back up, and then putting nutrients back in. So everything that I have on tarp is, I would consider a middle range. So for cucumbers, the EC should be around, let me just double check before again, this is a form. If you go to my website, towergardeningmadeeasy.com, it's a PDF that you can download. It's completely free. And if the EC meter that I use is right there as well. And it shows you the highlighted columns for everything you need. So the EC is 1.7 to 2.5. So if you put in, just like from the nursery right to the tower, I would probably start your nutrients at 1.7. Keep it on the low side. And as they start to grow, as they start to flower, they're going to need a little more nutrients. So then I would bump it up to maybe 2.0. And I think that's where we were, 2.0, 2.1. But the problem wasn't that. It was the pH. The pH was like off the charts. It should be 1.8 to 6.0. And about every other day I was checking it, it was like 7.5. Went to 8 at one point, and that was like the next day. So I don't understand it, other than just, you know what, take everything out, clean the tower, give it a fresh start. Whatever's in that basin, whatever's in that water, whatever's, harming it to make it, jump up, is going to be gone. And then hopefully I don't lose everything that's there, but it's a chance I'm going to take. So it's inevitably, I'm going to have to do it anyway. So I might as well try it, put things back, and hopefully things will be happy, and they'll start sucking the nutrients. The roots will go right back to the bottom, and together they'll do it. And that way they'll be drinking at the same time. So let's go ahead and clean this, because it's pretty nasty. So bear with me. I'm going to set this up. I'll be right back. You'll hear me because I have my mic on. And again, Dolly's key, kids. Get it. It's worth it. All right, here we go. All right, I apologize. We're going to be in my bathroom. This is where I do everything. If you've been gardening with me from the beginning, that's where we were. Let's see. Yes, I'm using pH up, pH down from Tower Garden. I use just their products. So, here we go. Just their products. Now, if you have some of the old towers, this used to be included. It's no longer, it's an extra. I had no idea for the longest time as to what it was for, but I understand now. Because I tried to put, some top off water in this, and it was not happening. So I'm just going to drain this into the sink from the blue hose. Can I do this? And this just basically screws in. I'm going to run an extension cord, I think. Now the pump has to be on while I do this. That means electricity and water. But there's no getting around that. So before I plug that in, I need to be here, because we don't want water everywhere. And then I'm just, before we start pumping, I'm just going to give this a little a little clean. So you guys can see me. You can see like all of the edges are really just like brown and gross. I don't really want to put any cleaner in here just because I like to kind of keep it as simple and organic as possible. But, you know, something that Tower Garden could do, and a previous house that I lived in, I built a pond. And in that pond, I connected a UV light, which kept down a lot of this issue. So if Tower Garden could ever come up with a system where you could have a UV light that's plugged in somehow, and then it just dangles into the basin, that would be fantastic because it would kill off any algae or things that would cause what was happening in my tower. Luckily, the water is not freezing. It's actually okay. So I'm just kind of rubbing it, giving it a good scrub before I plug it in. And it comes off pretty easy. Brown. Ooh. The water doesn't smell, which is probably a good thing. Okay. And there's not a lot of debris in there, so that's good. So I'm going to have to hold that. And the pump, believe it or not, it pumps pretty fast. So we'll be able to reverse it. And okay. All right, so we're plugged in and we are draining. And I can't really let go. I reach you guys. Okay. How are we done? Okay. And that's it. There's a little bit of spillage, but I could just take a towel. But that's what that hose. So if you ever got one in your package, your box when you bought this, that's what it was for. I didn't know. I was like, what is this tube? But it's on their website. And I guess you could go to Home Depot. I don't know how thick it is, but it's pretty thick, and it just goes right on top of that blue tube. I mean, and it pumps. This is one of those fast pumps. There's a few little flowers. From what I can see, the water that's pumping out is pretty brown. So, you know, I mean, where are we? Mid-May. So, yeah, it's been 5 months since I completely took this apart, or built it, I should say. It was the first go round. So, little water, no big deal. So, you can do this in your house. You don't need to be outside, but you know, eventually when my outdoor area is finished, I'm going to be putting 2 towers out there so we can do indoor and outdoor, just to see the difference. But I see people struggle, if you watch my podcast, with a lot of insects like the aphids and spider mites and things of that nature. So not a big fan of that, because you're going to spend more time worrying about that than you are the actual nutrients and pH. So we're doing pretty well here. I would say we're a little over halfway. But yeah, the blue hose fits perfectly right into the into this clear hose. You know, and it doesn't take too long. Maybe, you know, a couple hours stem to stern if you don't have to take anything and try to hang on to it. You know, I'm going the extra mile to try to save those plants, especially the celery. Definitely want to save the celery. Dawn, do you grow inside or outside? And how many towers do you have? We're a quarter of the way there. So I'm going to do one before this pops out. I'm going to unplug this real fast. I'm trying not to. I'm going to redirect the water for a little sec here. Okay. I just want to give it another little swirl. Just hold it. So unplug the electricity. Always be safe. Get that resin that's on the bottom. The tower that I did, was it last week, I think? There was like sand on the bottom. It was weird. Like, I don't know where that came from. Almost there. Hang in there, guys. So if you have a pump, again, I don't really want my hand in here, but you got to do what you got to do at this point to get that last bit out. Don't put those suction cups on the bottom. You want to be able to move your pump around. So as you can hear, we're almost at the bottom, but I want to get as much out as possible. Hang on, Don, I'll read your comment in 1 second. So now I'm going to tip this up a little bit. There we go. I have 505 protein. I hear you. Yeah, no, me too. I'm excited. We're putting in a pool. So our backyard is completely ripped up right now. But I'm looking forward to when it's done of trying to get something out there, some, you know, some containers, definitely 2 towers, but some outdoor containers because it does grow faster. But in the winter, I mean, our winters here are long and they're cold. And honestly, since I started growing my own vegetables on the towers, they taste completely different than the store-bought. They just actually taste like what they're supposed to. So I'm completely hooked on the towers and getting away from, you know, where this produce is actually being grown right now. God only knows. So we're there. So that last little bit, I just kind of rock it back and forth and the pump will grab it. It's like having a big fish tank. So I'm just rocking it back and forth. And it's just grabbing it. Just try to get as much of the, there you go. All set. Okay. So let's unplug this. And this all looks pretty good. All right, a little bit of water on the floor, no big deal. So the last little bit of water, like if you're outside, just dump it, but I just take a towel and soak it. And it lets me get any like resin that's left. There's just a little bit. But, you know, there's no foul smell, which is really, really good. I'm really happy with that. Okay. So I think this is good. So now what you do to put the water back in is you reverse it. And we can do that now because it's clean. And my floor is clean. Okay. So this pump can pump a lot of water really fast. So what I usually try to do is angle this a little bit. So now the pump goes in the sink. And I get the dolly as close as possible. I fill the sink up first so it gives it, you know, an area to draw from because it can pump real fast. So I need to stay on top of that. It's almost filled. Wipe your cords. Make sure there's no water on it. So I'm going to be filling a flex. So it's 20 gallons. You can see in a minute. We knew that was going to happen. That's why I have a stack of towels. Actually, here's my mop. Okay, there we go. $20 gallons, lots of water. We're about a quarter of the way there. It's a long process, guys. the pump can pump faster than what we can put into the sink. So that's what I'm struggling with over here. Almost halfway. We're halfway now. A little over half. I would say we're 3/4 now. These are really powerful pumps. They can pump a lot of water fast, but it's faster than my sink. So I keep getting air pockets. And lots of water on my floor. So I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and detach this. And there we go. Unplug that. Okay, well, we've definitely made a mess in here. So let's move you guys out. Back into the other room. How many people I lose? Wasn't that fun? All right. Let's just clean this up. I need the water go everywhere, guys. This cord is dry. Out of here. I think what I'm going to do instead of putting things through the dishwasher, because they really weren't that dirty, is I'm going to make a solution of water and hydrogen peroxide and go ahead and just hand wash them in the room and then build back the tower. So if you guys are still with me, that's what we're doing next. Hang in there. Okay. All right. Here's our bucket. And then hang with me. All right. Probably going to switch out my mic. So hold on. Okay, switched up my mic. Can everybody still hear me? Hope so. Okay, let me get some hydrogen peroxide. So, I mean, they're relatively clean. So all I want to do at this point is just slightly disinfect. So I'm just going to use just regular water and good old hydrogen peroxide. Not going to measure. And maybe what I'll do, just for fun, let's put this on the bottom. So we can just sit on the ground together. Let's see if that works. All right. Ooh. Yes, perfect. So you can run these through the dishwasher, but just because I want to build the tower and I don't want to spend an hour doing that, putting it through the dishwasher. Because remember, when I took a look inside, they're not that bad. So I'm just going to basically take a little towel. There we go. And if there's any debris, just pick it off. And then I'm really just gonna go inside. Ooh, it actually fits perfectly. There we go. Even better. And I'm just gonna give it a little wipe because there really isn't a lot of stuff in here. So just enough to disinfect it a little bit. There wasn't any algae, so perfect. Just someone's texting me. There we go. Okay, next piece. My God, it fits in there perfectly. The other tower that I had last week that the footage got lost. I don't know what happened with that. I had to put that through the dishwasher because there was a lot of algae in that. That was the strawberry tower that I took apart. I decided that it was time that the strawberry that I were growing, it wasn't enough. If anybody's having issues with audio, please let me know in the comments. I just switched out my mic. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I mean, this is coming up real nice. Perfect. Awesome. But there were a lot of roots in this guy, a lot of roots. And that was, I think, really just, messing up that whole pH. So we just finished putting the water in, fresh water into the Flex, 20 gallons or so. And again, I don't have to measure anymore because now when I do my nutrients, it's based on the EC meter and the pH meter. It makes it a lot easier to top off things. And if you haven't had a chance to watch my nutrient video that I did, you really should. It's really simple. It's very basic, and it breaks it down so that your nutrients. If they're too high, you add water. If they're too low, you bring them up in very small increments. Yes, I have a lot of links. Go to my website. That's the easiest to explain. It's towergardeningmadeeasy.com. It's the link that's in the YouTube. And it really is, it's stem to stern as to what you need. And it'll take you right to where you need to go. Again, I want to make this as easy as possible for you. And if you run into trouble in the website, there's an area you just click on where it says contact. But it's a Gmail account. It's just towergardeningmadeeasy at gmail.com. And it goes directly to me, to my phone. And you have direct access to me. As I really want people to be successful at this. I do. It's not hard. There's a little bit of labor involved, as you can see. There's a little bit of troubleshooting. And when something doesn't go quite right, you have to kind of think outside that box. And like I said, the pH on this bad boy was just, I don't know, for I think a good solid week to 2 weeks, I just kept fighting it and said there's just something wrong and needed to, take it apart. And sure enough, it's excessive roots. So, and again, I'm just going to clean this with a little hydroponictowergardening food grade. And because there was no algae. If there was algae in this, I would be running it through the dishwasher with a sanitation cycle. But there isn't. It's just debris. A couple more pieces, and then we can put her back together. And you can see how easy that is. I say that, watch. Watch me struggle. So funny, like my channel, as you guys all know, it's relatively young, and it's interesting learning from all of the other people, you know, whether it's this niche or some other niche on how to do it. There's certain things, there's a lot of components to it. And I learned yesterday, this is something interesting. So I was walking around the fairgrounds going live, showing you guys like some cool stuff. And so when I went to go post the video, it took forever to upload. And one of the things that happened was a copyright thing came up. And I'm like, how could this be copyrighted? This is just raw footage from me walking around fairgrounds, looking at garden stuff. And in the background of one of the tents was somebody playing music. And believe it or not, the video picked it up. And YouTube, when I went to upload it, said that's a copyright, not a strike, but you can't use that. You have to take that portion of the video out, which I was like, what? Made no sense. But, you know, you got to just follow the rules, I guess. So this piece is a little more dirty. It's a little more scrubbing. And again, if this had algae, it'd be a different story, but I think it was just removing the roots. The shower compartment is the dirtiest piece, that in the bottom where the water is sifting through. But again, it's not green, it was just brown. So that tells me that it was probably root rot. And that was from the roots that were old and weren't attached to anything. And because again, I'm inside, so it wouldn't be a temperature thing. That was the other thing. If you watch my podcast, somebody had a great question and they said, if you are outside and you're down in Florida, what do you do? And so that podcast, you can go watch it, talk about temperature and how to keep your towers cool. And it was, when I did the research on it, I was really impressed with how simple, you know, I won't say simple, but, you know, because if you're dealing with that, that's a whole other, you know, can of worms. But water bottles, like you know, your recycled water bottles, like your Poland Springs, you take them, you fill them 3/4 of the way, not all the way. And you put them in your freezer. And in the morning, you know, you kind of rotate them down a couple times a day if it's super, super hot. And then you can keep an aqua. I keep forgetting to do this. I need to put it on the website. Aqua temperature, like, you know, for fish tanks. And you can just stick it in the basin of the reservoir and just check it, you know, periodically. And you really want the temperature. I think they said between 65 and 75. I think that's what they want. And you can get the, you know, any of those temperature things at a fish store. You can order them on Amazon. And I promised to do that, and I never did. So I apologize if somebody was looking for that. But and I think these are pretty good. I mean, they're spotless. And the water's just got a little bit of debris. So very happy about that. So we could put this thing together now. I'm going to wipe off that top though. Because that's the first piece that goes on. So let me do that. And I really try not to use any soaps. Because you don't really want, like, I love the Myers cleaning stuff, but again, that can have a resin. It's okay to use it like on the outside, like on this, I've done that, but you don't want it, you know, to go in the basin. And I really try to keep my towers clean. Just, not that I'm a religious person, but, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness. So somebody commented how clean my grow room is. And thank you. I really take pride in that. It's important. And the same thing with, you know, people have been talking in the forums lately about trimming back things. I'm like, yeah, something needs to be trimmed back. Please trim it back because it needs airflow. These towers are, you know, super, super tall. But you know, my tomato plant, if you've watched any of the videos, that thing grows like a weed. And again, I'm in my basement, and if I don't keep that thing cut back, it just gets out of control. It's really, really condensed, and it gets thick. And there are tomatoes on the inside of that tower that I didn't even know they were there. So they inevitably, they're so ripe in the morning. I come down and check on things, and they're like splat on the floor. It's gross. So I'm like, oh, I missed that one. So let's just give this a little wipe. A little bit of root down here. And again, this really isn't. I've seen worse. What did I clean? It was one of the towers I cleaned, and I was like, wow, that was bad. I had tons of algae. Maybe in the bean. But it's so funny. There was some form of a moderator, believe it or not, that said, oh, you just have to live with the algae on the towers. And I'm like, what? You don't want algae on your towers, because the algae, it blocks the uptake of the nutrients. So if you have lots of algae, and I'm going to do this, remember I just mentioned earlier in the live about this rock wall, 2 different kinds. And so one is much more prevalent to getting algae. So you have to use covers, whether you cut up noodles or you use the covers that are on my website in the essentials, and block it. You got to block the light because you can't block the water. And so when you deprive it of just one of those elements, it's going to go away. But if you don't, it's going to keep on going, and it's going to grow through the rock wall. And that means that your seedling is not going to grow. And there's one in particular, which I really, really like, that it's just prone to it. So, okay, so we're good. So we're going to go ahead and I'll clean up later. Remove this bad guy. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you when you put this on is make sure that your pump is to the back and it's to where you're going to plug this in. So let me just adjust the camera because we're going to start getting taller now. So we'll come off the floor. And thanks everybody for joining me today. Had a really nice turnout. Okay, so maybe over here. Okay. Just need a little sip of something here. Okay. Oh, so quiet. Okay, so just make sure that your pump is in this little coil and the water looks nice and clean and very wet. Don't plug this in, leave it. And you want the water area of this top compartment to be away, the furthest part from where the pump cord is. Let me explain that. So think of it like this, because I've built a bunch of these towers now. When the water reservoir is next to the outlet, you're mixing what? Water and electricity. Don't do that. Keep it the furthest away, which would be on the opposite side. That, and the plug is closest to the wall. So you want all of your electricity back there. And so that when you need to top off your towers, it's in the front. So the other component is the lights. When you set the lights up on top, and we're going to do that, you want that cord to be basically parallel with where you're plugging it into the wall. So it all lines up. Okay, so it all looks really, really good. I will do the pH and the nutrients in the very end. So stay with me now because this is the important part. So I need to do the blue pump into the top part first. First step. And I just kind of set it like that. And go ahead and just, it can be a little tricky. Again, I feel like tower gardening, you need a third hand. Some of the pumps on the newer towers have a, this is 2 pieces instead of 1. So I'm going to kind of twist this. There we go. And make sure that this first part is tight. Now I have circled this pump like a million times to make that. There we go. So push that into the water. Nothing is plugged in. So there you go. So that is your first piece. So my cord is here. and my water reservoir is there, straight across. All right, so the next thing is then your rods. So I lost one of these little guys. Make sure your hands are dry for this one. To the best of your ability. Okay. You're going to have these two long poles. Okay, these are your rods that everything connects to. So the wing nut should be all the way to the top, nice and tight. And it goes into, I believe, the A slot. You're going to take your wing nut and you're going to put it on the very bottom. You have to get into the tower now. I don't know if I did this on the last one. Maybe it goes like that. I think I stopped using the wing nuts. Oh, now it's in the water. Now we're definitely not using it. All right. I'm going to do B. As long as they line up. And again, make sure your hands are dry. Otherwise, you're going to pull the top off. So another thing I do is I tend to try to thread it on just once. And then I rotate the top. I don't know if you can see this. I rotate the rod, and because otherwise you end up dropping the wing nut in the water. So again, this is crucial. This has to be tight. I don't think I use the wing nuts. I think I stopped doing that just for that reason. Okay, let's dry your hands again. And that is on. So the next one, again, wing nut, make sure it's nice and tight, and it goes on the same one. So I'm on B. I don't think it really matters. And then we'll find out in a minute because I might have to take it apart on live. And got your wing nut, go on in there, and then start to swivel the rod instead of twisting the wing nut, because inevitably you're going to drop the wing nut in the water. And then once you have it threaded, go ahead and tighten it. So those are nice and tight. Okay. Yeah, I got a little bit of root there, so I'll take that. There we go. Okay, so we have our shell. It's done. Okay, so now the first piece is just, should be A. Let's see. Did I go? What did I do? I did B, so this needs to be A and A. We're going to find out in 1 minute. Now each piece, put body weight. Okay, put body weight on it. Make sure that it snaps, and then go ahead, give a little turn, and make sure it's all good. So that was A. Now B. These came out good with just a little bit of water. I look inside and I put my fingers. They need to make them a different color. B and B. Again, body weight, connecting all the way around. A. A, right? B. Okay, nice and snug. Some tower pieces give you a little hard time. Some don't. Oh my God, I can't see. B. B. Yeah, I mean, these just fit together nice and smooth. So there we go. those all look really good. Okay. I think, yeah. Then we put the extension rod on. So that'll be, wow. Okay. This is where I need the ladder. I can't see the holes. All right. And be careful of stepping on the tower like I am, because you could push it away. So balance very careful. Oh my God, I cannot see these. A, there's B. It's like they get washed down. B and B. Like worn down over time, you know what I mean? Like worn away. Is that right? See, just like that. You see my foot? You'd be like, whoa, doing a split. Okay, so now I need my extensions. And just obviously be very careful on the ladder. So extension rods go here. Twist them on. They have like a long, I don't know, I call it a wing nut, but it could be something else. I have no idea. Lug nut, wing nut, nut. Good, nice and tight. Wipe your hands because you want to keep that so your hands aren't sliding. You think it's tight. Other thing too, put your finger on the level below and make sure that you're not untwisting or twisting. Yeah, so I can feel that one right there. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. All right, so we have 2 more compartments. She's looking good. She's looking good. A little dirty. We'll wipe her up. We'll shine her. You girl, gorgeous. Okay, I'm out of paper towels. All right, here we go. How you guys doing? Hanging in there? Any questions? I haven't checked in a while. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Back on the ladder. And that was A. So this is going to be B. Again, see how I put my fingers? You literally cannot see the inside. It's so hard. So I take my finger and I line it up to the hole, and then I don't let go. Don't mark them. It's not going to last anyway. And then the last component is the shower top. So this one doesn't really have the mark, but you just have to kind of go with the feel. See? Oh my God. Huh. So let me try a different one. I have a couple of these. Tower Garden has changed some of their models. I have other shower caps. Let me see. There used to be, I think on the older ones, there were 4. So I might be taking this apart, guys, because this is one of the newer ones where it's not going to line up. Yeah, so there's 2 holes right here that are bigger. And I think it's supposed to, if I look on this, hold on. Wait, I don't kill myself. It should line up. But it's not going to. Should end with A, I guess. Oh, no, because that's not going to be right. It needs to go there, there, and there, which would be. Oh my God, I can't see. Yeah. They keep changing this. So it needs to end on an A. Okay. Also, too, if you have a baby green section, that's another thing, too. All right. Starting over. That means I have to change the rods down to the bottom. All right, we are on live. It happens. Each tower, depending on what you're putting on the top, and I didn't do any type of extension other than just this component, I guess needs to end on an A. So when I put those rods on B, they should have been A. So we'll reverse everything. But like the baby green section has a different top. So it has more holes on the shower cap. So it doesn't matter where you end up. There's 4 sets of holes versus 2. I think I only had 1 tower. This is my only tower that does not have an extension kit. I don't know. Live and learn, right? It's all good. It's better that I make the mistake for you. How about that? Yeah. The other ones don't matter. So when you put your rods in, if you're not doing a baby green extension kit, make sure they're on A. And they're on B. Okay. Here we go. Back in the water. Tight. All right. I mean, that's the hardest part, is just doing that. And then we build. learned something new. Yeah, I'm looking at it on my towers and they all have baby green sections. Maybe not the one over there, the new tomato tower. It's also a really good time to really look at your pieces. And I just noticed I have a little crack right there. That's another good thing that Tower Garden could come out with, some type of epoxy kit for little cracks like that. I wonder if that's where the celery was, if that was the top part that we cleaned. All right, we're gonna be go. Extension rods. Again, make sure they're really, really tight. I don't know. Let's see if it works. There we go. Okay. All right. So the last two components are just the wing nuts on the top. But this is an important, crucial step. Make sure the wing nut is super tight. Don't crack the tower. But you want to make sure that you're cranking it down. My hands are wet and the wing nut went on wrong. Hear the pop? That's how you know things are kind of coming together and they're nice and tight. Okay. Whew. Okay, so you don't put a top on if you're putting lights on. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. A little bit of water. All right. Here we go. Let's put this one back. And let's tackle some lights. Again, remember I talked about the cord of the light. I put it over my shoulder. I want the timer to be lined up with the reservoir in the cord. And again, if you're not strong enough to do this, then get a friend, because you don't want to. I'm just going to set this here for 1 second and adjust. It's not on. It's just, it's not like tight, because I know it's not lined up. I just got to get into a position where I can lift it. So you want the timer in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and position my body in the front. And a little bit. And then once you have it into place, push it flat. Yes. And then even out your lights. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the lights to make sure that they're all okay, which I'm sure that they are. Yeah. Okay. So they're on. So that's good. And then, you know, adjust them to where you need them to be, and then adjust your timer. We'll do that at another time. Now, the biggest thing is I want to test the water before we start putting plants in. And the reason why you want to do that is you want to look for leaks. So there's a problem with the pump. It's not. It's not pumping. So let me just go find this. That's hooked up. Okay. I'm just going to plug it into the wall versus the timer. Okay. Okay, so the blue hose is not connected correctly. So okay, it's starting to go up, but it should be a little more forceful. Maybe it just needs a minute. This is where you want to make sure that your tower is level. So I don't have it on a timer. I just have it straight into the wall, and I'm just trying to figure out, maybe there's some roots of some sort that get sucked in there, and it will work itself out. I mean, this is all really good. It's problems to have. Um, it's going. I think it was just an air bubble. I think that's all it was. Okay, I'm going to leave that on for a second and go get a towel. But yeah, I mean, it's better to experience it through my mistake. Blue hose wasn't connected correctly, so we fixed that. And then the other thing was that the pump must have had some type of little air bubble. So once we lifted it out of the water, put it back in, it's laying flat. It looks like all the net ports now are getting water, but it's on not on the timer. It's on a ongoing right now. So I just want to make sure before we put plants in, because once you put those plants with the net pots in, it's a whole other game. So I got to open another window. It's so hot in here. Dying. With all these lights, it just gets so warm in here. It's crazy. Yeah, this all looks really good now. I don't, it's streaming real nice. So from all the net ports, you know, a little lagging, but I think once you put the weight of the flowers in, it will find its, yeah, I mean, it's good. Okay, so I think I can put this now on the timer, which it's set on the indoor timer, which is number 1. There we go. And we'll go ahead and leave that on. So she's really clean. That looks good. So now we just need to figure out what we're going to do with the seedlings that we took out. How to get them back in there to the best of our ability and salvage them and see what happens, you know, in 24 hours. So I guess the biggest one will be the celery, which I'm going to put back on the back. I don't really want that one in front of the timer. So it's doing okay. It's still, the roots are wet. All right. And so I'm going to just ease in the roots. I'm going to push out these lights. She's the biggest. I really don't want to lose her. What the celery I got for right now until the other ones grow. All right, looks like it's in. Watch, tomorrow morning I'll come down and it'll be on the floor. I mean, it definitely could go in there a little bit more. Okay. All right. But the roots are long, so I think that'll grab the water. So now we just got to look at, you know, the rest of this. And what we're going to do with it. But here's my other celery. Now, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth saving. There's really not much here. I'll go ahead and sacrifice it. And harvest what I can. Maybe I'll make a salad with it tonight. It's so good though. All right, so what do we got here? We got some small stuff. I'm gonna have to pack this down. It seems like they're pretty like top heavy. And the roots stayed pretty moist while we did this whole cleaning process. But they're very top heavy, so I'll go get some rock wool. And we'll use it to tap it down. So I'm just creating a little more stability for it by using some recycled. If you guys are gardening with me, you know I've got a recycle palette, although it's a little low right now. Okay, it's a little bit better. All right, what do we got down here? What do we got? I got a little baby one with a cover. Put this guy. I think I'm going to leave these dead pots for celery. because the celery does really, really well on the top. Just pop that guy in there. I'm going to give this a little bit of a prop too. Okay, that looks better. All right, what do we got? We'll do the little ones first. I mean, little ones, but they got balloons on them. And just a little bit of a topper. Give it a little stability. All right. They look okay. They don't look like they're stressed from being pulled out. The roots in the net pots are still pretty wet. And again, just propping this guy up too. I'm going to be going over that. This is that specific rock wall that I was talking about, that it degrades inside the tower for some strange reason. It just really breaks down. I don't know if they changed it or what they did, but it doesn't work well. It works great for seeding, but once you get it in the tower, it just really starts to break down, and that root system, there's just nothing to hang on to. So what do we got? Got some good roots here. Let's just trim it up a little bit. It's just like so top heavy. You know, if these guys make it, great. If they don't, then we'll pull them out and start again. That's the name of the game, right? But I've never had an issue with pH being like that ever. Not with cucumbers. They're so easy. So easy. All right, what do we got? That's a healthy root ball right there. Okay. Oops. Oh, sorry, Mr. Weave. I squished it. And I have an extra trellis, so I might actually put that on. I mean, I might actually lose those cucumbers that are on here. They were pollinated. Okay. And I'm actually going to grab a clip. Guy. Just give it a little bit of stability. So I get that trellis on there. That's not sticky anymore. Okay. Just until we can give it a little support. I don't think we're going to have time to get to the watermelons, but maybe tomorrow we'll do that. I've got some pollinated watermelons that are growing on a tower. Yeah, I know. But you know what, Dawn, do yourself a favor. Go on to Facebook Marketplace and go under the area that you live and put your ratio of like 100 miles. People have them, believe it or not. I live in Newport, Rhode Island, and there's not a lot that goes on here unless it's summertime. There was a woman, I mean, how crazy is this? She had a storage container right next to mine, like in the same building. She had a home, not a flex, that she bought new in the box, never used it, and then she moved, she downsized, and then she put it onto Facebook Marketplace, and I found it, and I was like, "How much do you want for?" Like she wanted peanuts, so I was happy to buy it, and it was brand new. She had never even set it up. She said she was overwhelmed. So brand new, yeah, they can be a little expensive, but Facebook, I'm telling you, I found 3 towers so far on the Facebook Marketplace. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to buy another one from Tower Garden, but if I can get them, cheaper, why not? And you're helping somebody that didn't want it in the first place. So, all right. So now we got a viney one. Again, it's just like so. And I'm going to clip some of these roots that don't look as they were entangled. All right. So I'm going to give this little haircut. The other thing too, with the other side that went bad, that had powdery mildew. That was another thing. So what do we got? Should I vine this a little bit? Maybe, no, maybe I'll just prop it up. Try Craigslist too. That might be another avenue. I've never tried that, but you never know. They're everywhere. A gentleman that I bought one, I forgot what town it was. He had one, but it was set up that he just left. Like he goes, it's really dirty. And I go, all right. Like if you clean it, let me know. If you live up in the Massachusetts area, like that, there's tons up there. People, they bought them during the pandemic. I'm gonna put the cover on this so the flowers don't go in there. Yeah, so they bought them during the pandemic, and they never, I don't know, they thought the world was coming to an end, I guess. Okay, they're looking good. All right, so we got another drapey, so let's spread them out. How about here? These roots look good. Yeah, think of it like two. It's an investment. It will also cut down on your grocery bill. I don't know about you, but in Newport, this is why this whole thing started with me. I couldn't find a cucumber to save my life back in November, which I thought was hysterical, but frustrating. And I said, how can I grow my own, cucumbers in my house? And I found a way. So definitely don't give up. You know, I'm growing mushrooms, although I need to start that back up. I need more cleats soon. Because the exotic mushrooms for like 2 ounces is like $10 around here. So that's no fun. I can grow, my God, 2 pounds for about $25. I end up giving a lot of them away because I don't want them to go bad. Okay, we're doing okay. We're doing all right. What do we got? She's pretty. Lots of flowers. Let's deadhead it while I've got it out. So weird. Some of this was like super healthy, like the new growth, but the old growth. And then when I saw that yesterday, when I got back from Brimfield, I was like brokenhearted. I was like, no. Alrighty, I like this one. I'm gonna put her here. Oops. I really hope these guys make it. All that work. It needed to be done anyway. Should we do a clip? Let's do a clip. I don't think it likes the clip. Well, that's okay. I've got some little ones. See, I'm scared now. Those roots are like brown. We're getting there. We made a big mess, that's for sure. Okay, that looks okay. Some will make it. I think some will. I'll have to inevitably pull out, but I hope I'm proven wrong. That's all I can say. It would be a shame, but that's life. Life in the big city. All right, so we get some big drapey ones. Let's deadhead it first. It's like, okay. Labor love. This needs to go up. That was the one that had a pollinated cucumber. Should I find it? No, just leave it. We'll see. Oh, little roots get in there. Does that need to be propped up? Yes, they all do. All right, that's it. Making me mad now. I'm going to go do that video. I think that's part of the battle. Not enough support. You want almost like with the cucumber vines, these big vines, to have that support. And what I mean by that is the like the cloning of the tomato. If you guys ever watch that video, there's a term called totipotency. And what happens is when whatever the stem is touching, like that the rock wall, it's going to actually grow a root, and it's going to grow back into that area, not just from the bottom, and inevitably create more support for that plant. So that's what you want by putting that extra rock wall in there. You want it to actually grow more roots so that it can get a little bit thicker. So it stabilizes. I've just got a few more, so I'm going to look at the ones that are really viney. Okay, let's turn this back. And cucumbers need a lot of airflow too, just FYI, in order to really get them to fruit. So you got to put a fan on them. It's really important. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to end up with the powdery mildew. It's getting warmer, and where these lights and you've got so much water, the humidity, they've got to have the airflow. That is key, man. Key. You know what? You're just a little guy. Let's see where I put you. I went right here in the front. With the proper airflow, they will self-pollinate. So again, I'm going to lift this. You can actually see it starting to do that. So I'm actually going to get the tower in a minute, and I will stretch him to the those little trellises that I had on the side. These guys in the front. What do we got? Go for this guy. Just taking little pieces of rock wall, and I'm securing the existing rock wall that was rooted in, that, you know, since they've been in here, they've kind of disintegrated. And by giving it that extra support, the stem hopefully will root into it, giving it a thicker, more balanced base. I think I'll use a clip on that one. Okay, maybe there. Let's see. They will stay in the clips for a little bit, and then they would happily kind of grow out of them. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. We'll get some light. What do we got? We got 3 more little bitties. I think that will go right on the very bottom. And I'm going to cut that back. There we go. Oh, cover. Well, leaves like this that curl back into the moistness, you know, to the rock wall, get rid of them, because they're not going to get airflow and they're going to just shrivel up and die. So just do yourself a favor and just go ahead and prune them back. What do we got? Do we have any nip-pads left? I have 2. Where'd they come from? I'll leave those open for celery. Oh, right there and right there. Hello. All right, let's see how you guys do. Okay. to bottom, see what happens. And then, there we go. So the next thing is pH, nutrients. Oh, I did have one more there. Okay. Well, that's okay. Let me put a net pot in there though. So if you have any empty holes, put the net pots in. Some people use those solo cups, the small ones, and they put them inside so that the algae doesn't grow. It's kind of a good idea. I use sometimes just rubber gloves. You'll see I had purple rubber gloves over on the bean one. Those work too, if you don't have the solo cups. Okay, I'll just put these in there. All good. Let's see till it's going to be on the floor. Did you guys see that? All right. I'm going to have to prune back this. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to because it's not letting me get that net pot in. Oh. Okay. All right. It's too forward. So we're going to have to do some trimming. And that means sacrificing a little bit of it. It's just too heavy and it doesn't want to go in. It should now. Come on. There we go. There's that click, that little sound. But I had to, this is just a lot of celery to eat. Ooh, it just smells so good. I'll throw the ones out. We'll take those upstairs and we're left with just a little bit. So hopefully it'll continue to grow, not stunted. As my other stuff is not ready to go into the tree, the tower. Okay. So let's get rid of all this. I'm going to adjust the lights now. Kind of evenly, but not too close. Boy, we made a mess. Big mess. Yeah, just let that go. A gigantic mess. Okay, I'll spare you the details of the cleaning, but what I want to do now before we end this is add nutrients and test the pH, and then that will be a wrap for today. I had big high hopes for doing a lot more, but this took a lot of time. And I think I need to go take Libby outside. So I'll do that. All right, but we certainly got a lot done, and you got to see the tower being built, rebuilt, cleaned, and things that can go wrong. So let me go get some chemicals. All right. All right. Here we go. I don't think I have enough. Hold on. Doot. Not much in here either. Okay. All right, so you can see me down here on the floor. All right, so the biggest thing, like I said, you can top off your towers anytime you want without having to do the tower garden gold standard. And with these 2 meters, that makes it very easy. So the first thing I want to do is, again, this is just plain clean water now. So I'm just going to get that wet, clean it, and I'm going to turn it on and see what the pH is. Okay, so my pH here at the house is reading 8.33, way too high. Cucumbers and celery want to be between 5.8 and 6. So let me turn that off for 1 second. I'm going to adjust the camera so you guys are closer. Bring it down just a smidge. It's really, really tall. Okay. Alrighty, and then the EC meter, turn it on. Again, there's nothing in here, but I'm just curious to see what it reads. Nothing in the water. So it's reading 0.5, which means we need to put a substantial amount in here. And then we need to be between 1.7 and 2.4. So I'm going to shoot for 2.0. So I'm going to do the nutrients first. And because this is a completely fill, I'm going to start with half a cup, which is like 125, and see where that gets us. Let's use these first. This was 100, so we'll start there. I think it'll still be too low, but it's better to go slow than put too much. If you put too much, you're going to add more water. So equal parts A and B. Give it a nice big swirl. Make a tsunami. Easy. Where are we? I'm gonna. Almost at 1,000. So I think we could do another half cup or 100. All right, that's B. B. Need to go get another A and B. So 100 and 100. So that's now 2, which basically, if you were to go by the tower garden, it would be about 10 mils per gallon. So let's give it a swirl. Let's swirl it a little bit more. So it's reading 1.4. So we need between 1.7 and I would say 2. So I'm going to do, that's empty. Where's my, what's left in here? I think I'm going to do 50. Again, slow. Where's the 50? There is room in the tank for me to add water if I need to. some bubbles I can't see. Okay, let's give it a swirl. It's reading 1.6. Almost at 1.7. So I'm thinking another 50 should get us to the 2. We're at 1.7. We're not quite there. So it's a judgment call. It's at 1.7. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit, maybe like just a splash. Like 25. And then I'll reassess it tomorrow. Okay. I think that's going to be good. Let me just give it a stir. We're at 1.9. I'm really happy with that. That's fine. I'm going to leave it. Dry out your meters. Keep them clean, guys. All right, so the next thing is the pH. So we know that it was 8.83, but inevitably, once you start doing your nutrients, it's going to change the pH just a little bit. So that's why you do nutrients first, pH second. So let's go ahead and give this a swirl, turn it on. So it brought it down to 6.67. All right, I'm going to do it twice. I've actually ordered a new one of these. This is getting pretty old. Do it twice. So it's still reading 6.5. So I'm going to add, just clean this up a little bit. You like my wagon? Isn't it cute? I grab my stool and I drag it from area to area. Put the big guys in there. All right, so my meters. A pH down. Where did that go to? I don't even know. Oh, there's an empty. Okay, so we don't need the pH up. We know that, so we're gonna put that away. pH down. So what I use is 1 capful at a time. And this needs to be between 5.8 and 6. And again, you can order, you can go to the website, gosh, I'm getting tired, towergardeningmadeeasy.com and download the PDF one under the nutrient school. Just look for the little red wagon and we'll take you there and just download it. It's free. You need it. You have to have it. It's key. So just 1 at a time, 1 capful, give it a really good stir. So my pH meter is, I think, just a little wonky. Like I said, I just ordered a new one. So I'm going to do this meter, but I'm also going to do the old school so you can see that as well. Test. So it brought it down exactly to 6. 5.99, 594, 588. Hopefully it doesn't go any lower. I think it's right where we need it to be, but again, I think this is on the fritz. I think it needs a battery. So I'm going to old school it. So if you get your towers from Tower Garden, they give you this old school. I like the meter better, but again, I'm actually Amazon's delivering a new one today. I'm just going to old school it with this just to make sure, because again, if your pH is too high or too low, it can't, the plants and the seedlings cannot uptake the nutrients. So you fill it to the first line with 5 ml to the best of your ability. Eyeball it. 5 drops of the solution. And this comes with every tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Give it a swirl. Now there's a piece of paper that you put it on, and I literally put it in between the two. So this golden green color that is staying between 5.5 and 6. So it's kind of like right in the middle. Let me just go back. Yeah, it's fine. It's right there. It's more towards that 5.5, but it's got that shade too. So it's close enough to the 6 because this paper is 5.8 to 6. So we're right on the money. So keep them clean, keep them charged. This needs a battery, but always hang on to your old school. Because it's always good to have the backup if you think that that's not right. And that's how I discovered that there was something wrong with this tower. I kept doing both, going, what's going on? At first I thought it was the meter. I'm like, I'll just order another meter. But inevitably I knew that there was something inside. It just needed a good clean, and that's what we did today. It was a very long live for everyone. Thank you so much for, sticking it out with me. But you got to see, real life problems and fixing it so that you can continue to grow your food and be, independent from the grocery store. So I'm going to put the cover on, pack up my little red wagon, and clean up this mess. And set the lights. I think it is 1:30. So I'm just going to move this just a little bit. There we go. I have my tower set from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. So I just had them off for a little bit. And so I had to reset them. Oh my gosh, we've been on here for a long time. All right, listen, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm glad you got to see this stem to stern, real life problems in the towers, but knowing how to fix them is the key. So reach out to me through either the website or the comment section. I'm here to help you, walk you through it. This list, again, is in the website. Just go to it, download it. It's really your Bible on how to get your plants looking really amazing. It's free. I still need to put mine in plastic. It's getting kind of wet here and there. So thanks for joining me. I'm sorry we didn't get to everything today, but maybe we can come back on here tomorrow and finish up because there's still a lot to do in this room. All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you.